Welcome to the Philos Project Podcast. I'm your host, Dominique Hoffman, and this week I speak with my colleague, Allison Batson. She is the Director of Strategy at Generation Zion, the advocacy wing of the Philos Project, to discuss a recent order that Generation Zion tried to fulfill for some stickers. Generation Zion focuses on advocacy across all age demographics, but particularly amongst college-age students, as antisemitism is extremely prevalent on American university campuses. And the sticker they tried to get printed was pretty tame in its language. It just says, Hamas sucks. It's in support of Israel and condemnation of the horrific terror organization, Hamas. This is reminiscent of a trend that can be seen across Israel since the start of the war. A little stronger in language, stickers that say F Hamas have become very popular. Again, it's a political statement supporting Israel, condemning the terror organization Hamas. But Vistaprint claimed that this violated their terms and agreements. It was discriminatory, and according to a representative that we spoke to, it could offend members of Hamas, and therefore Vistaprint could not fulfill the order. So immediately, I went to Vistaprint and fulfilled a number of orders as an experiment to see if that same standard would be held for someone condemning Israel. So I printed a few stickers that said, Israel sucks, from the river to the sea, free Palestine. And those were fulfilled and shipped to me. I also ordered a sticker in the affirmative of Hamas, I heart Hamas, which was also fulfilled and shipped to me. And it points out an anti-Israel bias, which is so prevalent in society. I don't even think many of us who are Zionists recognize its prevalence, even in corners of society that are not inherently political, such as fulfilling an order through Vistaprint. But it's important to keep at the forefront of this political debate. And hopefully this is a story that progresses and maybe we can get a response from Vistaprint. I hope you enjoy the conversation. Allie, welcome to the Philos Project Podcast. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much.
So Allie, you are our Director of Strategy at Gen Zion, which is an initiative started by the Philos Project. So for those who might not be aware or who knew it previously as a Philos Action League, can you describe a little bit about the work you guys do over there?
Absolutely. Yes. Generation Zion is very focused on supporting Israel and basically sharing our love for Israel with others. Our goal is to kind of build a new Zionist generation in which Christians and Jews, they come together and support for Israel together. And we do so many things. We've done a lot in Dallas so far, in Nashville. Those have kind of been our focus areas on really trying to make a difference and kind of get boots on the ground and doing rallies and different things to promote Israel in the community.
And you guys did our big rally in Washington, D.C., where our president or vice president-elect J.D. Vance spoke. So you guys have already done some really great work in your inception as a new org. So today we have kind of a crazy, wild story. If you want to maybe explain it, it surrounds trying to get stickers printed. I'm assuming for like tabling. You guys are also focused largely on like college age crowds. So in college, we all had like stickers on our water bottles, our computers. So you guys went to print a sticker. I'm going to put it here on the screen for everyone to see. For those who are listening, it just says, Hamas sucks, which I think we can all universally acknowledge that, or maybe not all, but that saying a terrorist organization sucks is an accurate kind of assessment of Hamas's treatment of both their citizens and Israelis.
It's mild. It's very mild.
It's very mild. Yeah.
We chose the mild route, but also like it shouldn't really be a controversial statement by any means. Mm-hmm. Stickers have been very popular. It's just some fun, cool merch that we have provided to people, and they have these stickers specifically that say Hamas Sucks they've just gone so fast every single time we take them to events or things like that. It's kind of fun and catchy, and also like it proves a point, right? So these have been extremely popular, the most popular by far, and we went to Vistaprint to order some. And everything looked like it went through, and then we got a notification saying that our order was declined and rejected and that it violated terms and conditions. So we kind of went back, we looked through things and thought, I don't know, there was a mistake. Granted, all of our other things in that same order, was fulfilled and shipped and all those things. So we went back, talked to customer service. That call was a little bit interesting. I guess there were some notes kind of in their back system that showed why it was rejected. And it basically stated that if someone supported Hamas, that they would be offended by this, which that was probably the wrong answer to give. Hopefully no one at Vistaprint is supporting Hamas. Although I will say as time went on, it became a little bit more alarming that maybe that is the case. So we resubmitted the order in hopes that maybe just there was some system error, or maybe there was one guy who just kind of wasn't a fan. So we resubmitted it, and then it got rejected again. And that was kind of what told us, oh, maybe this is a little bit of a bigger issue. So it got rejected again. And then we did a test case, which you were involved in ordering some kind of test stickers. Maybe they didn't like the word Hamas. Maybe if it says Hamas, they automatically get kicked back. Maybe, I don't know. So we did these test stickers. One said Israel sucks. Actually, two said that, I think. They had some different designs. And then the other one was I heart Hamas, which in my mind, I was like, surely they'll kick this back. You can't do that. It's a terrorist organization. And sure enough, those were all submitted, printed, and were shipped as well. So it kind of became very clear that they have a stance on things, or they're perfectly fine with, I guess, terrorism. I don't know. That seems a bit extreme, but
yeah. Yeah, the double standard is wild. So I flashed across the screen and I can put it again. This is the cancellation for your order, mm-hmm. Allie, just for those who might be wanting some of the harder evidence. And then these are some of the designs that you were just talking about. So, and forgive me, because when I made these, it was on an AI generator. So the design is not like that.
We professionally done. See how far they would go, basically. And they went all the way.
Exactly. So this one has, for those listening, it's a Star of David, and then under it says Israel sucks, and then it says from the river to the sea. This one was confirmed and shipped. I haven't received this one yet, but it is on the way. And then the other one that you talked about was this I Heart Hamas sticker, which also got approved, which is wild to me. So I think this one probably juxtaposes the one that you tried to get printed the best, just because it has similar wording, just in the affirmative of Hamas. And so this one was also shipped, and I have those confirmation emails here. And I have received one other order that I did. Also, I was just telling Allie before we recorded, the fact that this was $20 is really wild to me, because it's the size of my eyeball. But let's see.
If you can see it.
This is the other sticker. I know you have to squint, but it has the communist fist with the Palestinian flag, and then it says Free Palestine with Israel sucks on the side. So this one did get shipped to me, and I had it in time for this recording. So we did those 3 different kind of test shipments, and all placed separately were confirmed. So I think your analysis, or maybe astute observation that there is some sort of a political stance, is quite evident in the fact that it just wasn't universally a violation of the terms and agreement. So it wasn't okay, we can't say Hamas sucks, but also let's not say Israel sucks. This is an ongoing conflict. It's offensive to maybe people on both sides, which, again, speaking up for the feelings of Hamas is a wild stance to take, but it wasn't a universally applied standard to both orders, which I think just is a sign of the times that we're in, and the anti-Israel bias that's so prevalent in the media and in society and culture. What are some other examples, if you have any on hand, that you've run into just in your advocacy work, especially because you guys are really focused on the college campus aged crowd? Is that still very prevalent a year after October 7? What's the temperature in the culture?
Yeah, no, it's definitely still the fight on campus, if you will, is one that's extremely it can be extremely violent at times, which is really unfortunate. There's been, I think, one example that happened. So one thing that we do at Generation Zion is we like to, as Christians and Jews together, respond to incidents that affected a specific community. And some, if there was an anti-Semitic incident or something like that, we like to kind of come together and recognize it and show the support that we have for one another. And one way we do that is by bringing white roses, which is kind of symbolic of the Nazi resistance group back during the Holocaust. And so one thing that we did, graffiti is all the time, honestly, especially on college campuses or even like local businesses and communities. But one thing in particular that was just horrific, there was like a Jewish student's house, and I guess some perpetrators took like different shellfish, different things that broke kosher law, pig meat, things like that, and basically vandalized this person's house specifically with that, which is just sick in so many ways, really attacking their Jewishness, but also making them feel, extremely unsafe in that scenario. So there are just horrifically creative ways that people have found to attack the Jewish community, attack specifically, just with the kidnap posters, that one, it's almost like we don't even notice that one anymore. The kidnap posters that are up of children that were kidnapped by Hamas, just innocent civilians, Israelis, Americans, and for even just for those to be violated is extremely telling. And it's something that has been so normal at this point that we kind of forget that that's horrible in so many ways. But it's definitely extremely active, unfortunately, on college campuses and just in communities. Small towns are seeing things, Hanukkah parties that have been vandalized, or there's been some incidents there. So it's definitely alarming and definitely still relevant.
What does the Jewish-Christian friendship for these advocates look like? Because I know Philos Action League was primarily comprised of Christians doing this advocacy work to support the Jewish community. But what I think is so beautiful about Gen Zion is there's that friendship between both the Christians and the Jews in the space and on college campuses who want to stand in solidarity and friendship together, which I think is such an important initiative of just the Philos Project, but it's something uniquely special about Gen Zion. So what's the reception been of Jewish college students having these Christians reach out in solidarity and trying to support them in their advocacy work?
I think that's actually, so yes, originally it was a lot of Christians coming out to support their Jewish friends and neighbors. That was kind of the focus. And that was extremely important. Antisemitism is so hot right now that was really needed, and it still is, and it's something we continue to do. But there was something that kind of told me that this is something we could do together, and it's also a fight that Christians and Jews are doing together. There was actually a church that on like their church sign, they have out front, they have like the little letters you put up. It said support Israel. And it was just a church sign. It just said support Israel at the bottom, and it was vandalized. And it was, that was horrible, but it was really interesting to see the Jewish community contact us and say, hey, we saw that this church was just vandalized, and we know that you guys have come out so many times when our sign burnt down, or we had graffiti on the side of our synagogue or something, and we would love to show up for you guys in some way, because this happened because of your support for Israel and because of Zionism. And it's something that we share, we both care about, and we would love to support you. And that was when it was like, oh my goodness, like we're doing this together in our different communities and in our different ways. But it's something that, especially with rallies and things like that, where we want to come out and show our support for Israel, or we just had some speaking engagements where we had, some kid on campus jump up in the crowd, yell Free Palestine, and then get taken out of the room. Like, those things happen all the time. But I think there's definitely solidarity in numbers. There's encouragement with one another. It's not easy all the time, especially when you specifically and personally are being targeted for either your faith or your beliefs in loving Israel or supporting the Jewish people. And so it's been really incredible to see. And I think it's always better together.
It is. For those who are watching or listening, how can they get involved with Gen Zion? I know there's like a lot of new initiatives coming out as this is a newer rebrand of what Philos Action League was over the last few months. So how can just like the larger Philos audience get involved? Almost spilled my coffee.
Yes, that's a great question. We are a whole, I think, maybe 6 months old at this point as kind of this new focus in Generation Zion and developing it and creating it. So we love kind of the grassroots system and doing things very regionally focused. So we have a few regions in 2025 that we are going to be focusing on. I think I mentioned Dallas and Nashville were kind of our main two that we were looking at, and we're going to continue with those and then grow it into a few different cities. I think South Florida is going to be really good. We've got somewhere in Indiana. We're always kind of in your DC areas, New York, things like that. But definitely we have a website that has a lot of information about the things we're doing and the things that we've done. Engaging with churches, engaging really just on the local level, even like local businesses, and then also on college campuses and in church youth groups. I mean, really just focusing on where Christian community is and where the Jewish community is as well. But yes, we have a website, and I would encourage everyone to definitely sign up for our emails. There's a place in there to put in your zip code. Basically, that's for us to be able to let you know when things are going on in your area. So there's rallies happening all the time. There's different speaking engagements, speaking tours, and we would love for listeners and watchers today to be able to engage with those things that we have to offer.
Absolutely. And just one quick follow-up from the story we were talking about earlier with the Vistaprint. Did you ever get a response back from any higher ups when you tried to escalate it? I know that that was an effort that you had made. So just to bring a conclusion to that story, and hopefully maybe Vistaprint will respond. What is the status of that at the moment?
I would love to hear from Vistaprint. We submitted a press release. So we're like, you know what? This needs to be called out. This is extremely unacceptable. And so we submitted a press release, and basically in hopes of getting Vistaprint's attention. I did try to, call and go from there. But that didn't really work very well. And I think, I would love a response from Vistaprint. We've called them out on Twitter and on different platforms and still haven't heard anything. So, okay. Vistaprint, talk to me. Let's hear it. But do it publicly.
Yes, exactly. And our audience can follow the rest of the story, which hopefully develops. I would love a response from Vistaprint as well on all of Gen Zion's social media. So, Allie, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Philos Project Podcast. This is a little different for our coverage, but I think one that's important. And as I've mentioned throughout the course of this episode, speaks to the cultural moment and the double standard in political correctness that is prevalent throughout all of American politics, but primarily when it comes to Israel and the anti-Israel bias, which has leaked and poisoned all corners of society and culture, even those which are not inherently political, such as Vistaprint. If you would like to follow the developments in this story, if they continue further, if Vistaprint responds, you can follow the Philos Project on X and also Generation Zion on Instagram. If you would like to learn more about Christian Zionism and what it is and why Christians are called to support Israel, we have quite a few lectures from our recent Pathfinder retreat in the summer of 2024, taught by Dr. Gerald McDermott, which would be of great interest to you. I will link those in the description box below. The Philos Project is a nonprofit, and if you feel led to give to educational offerings such as this podcast, I will also leave a giving link in the description box below. Like always, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.